Hey everyone. So I wanted to come on here today to talk about my experience with water-only hair care, which I've been doing for about 2 months now, maybe a little more than 2 months. I've got my chamomile tea here. It's sort of a gloomy day in Ireland, which is nothing new. So I'm just going to be sitting here chatting with you guys and sipping my tea and just talking about my experience, which, I don't have a ton of pictures to show you, unfortunately. I'm just going to be having an informal chat, which is really what I prefer to do in these videos anyway. It's sort of how I like to make my videos. So hopefully, you don't mind that I don't have sort of a whole nicely edited progression of photos to show you. But I will try and describe my experience in as much detail as possible and sort of try paint a bit of a word picture for you. Um, so a bit of background, what sort of prompted me to start a water-only hair care routine. I have extremely thick hair that grows extremely quickly. It's somewhere between wavy and curly. It's kind of looking quite curly today because I rinsed it out last night, and I find anytime I kind of add water to my hair or anytime I shower, especially at the moment when I'm not using any products, my curls kind of become quite springy and sort of more curly-ish. But yeah, I've had obviously curly hair my whole life. I would say my curls have become sort of more loose and more like waves as I have become an adult, and especially in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, I would say. And that's apparently not at all unusual. And over the years, I have tried just a multitude. And when I say multitude, I mean dozens, if not hundreds, of different products and methods to try and care for my hair and get the sort of desired result. I've always wanted to kind of wear my hair naturally, and by that I mean sort of like a wash and go kind of a style where I could just wash my hair and not put too much kind of excessive time and effort and products into making my hair look decent. I would really, consider myself to be a sort of, I prefer a more natural sort of look. And so, and obviously in terms of saving time and energy, being able to put kind of minimal effort into styling your hair is preferable. However, over the years, I have tried methods that involve a lot more time and effort. I went through quite a long period of time, and by that I mean like many years, probably close to 10 years, where I mostly wore my hair straight. And if you look at earlier videos on my channel, you can see, numerous videos where I have my hair sort of straightened. I will say my hair actually straightens quite nicely. It takes a very long time to do that, to straighten my hair. It takes a good hour and a half to straighten my hair with a ceramic straightening iron. But once it is straightened, it just stays straight until I wash it, which is kind of nice. I don't actually have to re-straighten it or anything like that, provided I'm using a decent straightener. But anyway, that was still pretty time consuming. As I say, it would take an hour and a half at least to straighten my hair. When my hair was a lot longer, it would probably take even potentially close to 2 hours to straighten it. Um, and it's just very kind of tedious, time consuming, and just not really what I wanted to be doing with my hair. I really wanted to embrace more of my the way my hair naturally is. Um, but a consistent problem that I had with doing that is that every time I wash my hair, or used to wash my hair with shampoo and conditioner, no matter what kind of shampoo or conditioner it was, and as I say, I tried multiple products over the years and spent a lot of money on on trying different products and on researching ingredients and things like that. But my hair would always have this sort of, the best way I can kind of describe it is it would have like a candy floss quality. It had this sort of very fluffy, frizzy sort of texture to it, especially the top few layers. The underneath layers were fine, but the top few layers would have this sort of candy floss texture to them where they would be almost like soft and squishy and yet just kind of like completely fly away. Like I just couldn't get them tamed and calmed down and smooth unless I actually used heat or masses and masses of styling products. Neither of which I really wanted to do. I wanted to be able to just, have a wash and go type of a routine. And so at one stage, I was doing more of like the curly girl method. In fact, I would say probably for the last several years, aside from straightening my hair every now and again, I was using a more sort of curly girl friendly kind of hair care routine. I was using very, very gentle shampoos. I really looked very, in depth into what are the most gentle cleansing ingredients. And I would only buy shampoos that were incredibly gentle. And I would use masses of conditioner on my hair. I would use a hair mask, I was combing my hair in the shower and applying curling cream and the gel and all this sort of thing. But my hair would still take ages to style if I actually wanted it to look decent. I was having to like spend if I actually wanted like nice smooth defined curls, I was having to spend like half an hour to 45 minutes like squishing water and conditioner into my hair and then actually manually kind of curling especially the top layers of my hair so that it didn't have that candy floss kind of fly away texture to it. And it just drove me nuts. I just don't have the time and energy in a given week to spend that amount of time on my hair and on styling my hair, and it just was really annoying. Um, my hair has been a source of frustration to me mostly for that reason. All I wanted was a way that I could be mildly happy with my hair. Did not need my hair to look perfect by any means, but just a way that I could be mildly happy with my hair without spending this inordinate amount of time on my routine. I mean, just washing my hair when I would use shampoo and conditioner, that part alone would take about an hour, just the washing part, the time I spent in the shower on a wash day. And then that's not including sort of the 45 minutes to an hour that I would have to spend squishing water and conditioner into my hair and and trying to style my hair. And to be honest, most of the time I don't have that amount of time and energy, and so I just wouldn't bother, and I would just kind of resign myself to being somewhat dissatisfied with my hair. Um, or else I would just tie my hair back for work, put it in a plait or a bun, or just use hair bands to just sort of keep it off my face. Um, but yeah, as I say, I was always just sort of somewhat dissatisfied um, with my hair. And to be frank, I was somewhat resentful that I was spending all this money on all these products and the result was only ever like mediocre at best. I was never really happy with my hair unless I spent ages styling it. Um, and I think the whole thing started, like where my experimentation with water only hair care kind of came from, is um, a couple months ago, I decided to stop using like store-bought deodorant. I mean, like the normal cheap deodorant that has all the sort of nasty chemicals in it. Conversation with a friend kind of got me to think a bit differently about that. This friend of mine hadn't used deodorant in years, and he didn't smell. And he just kind of educated me a little bit about the chemicals that are in most deodorants. And so I decided to stop using sort of the cheap store-bought deodorants, and I instead switched to using like either going no deodorant if I didn't have to see people very much, like if it was a weekend or like a day off, and I'm not particularly worried about, smelling like I've just stepped out of a garden of roses. Um, and using like more sort of naturally based deodorant, like Wild was one that I used that I really like, and then there's a couple others that you can get from, Boots and uh, chemists and things like that that don't have a lot of those same nasty ingredients. And it just got me thinking about all the chemicals that we put on our body, with shower gels and shampoos and conditioners. I've already made a whole video about how I don't use any products on my face, and I haven't done so for over a decade. And I've been really happy with the effect that that's had on my skin, on my face, and I think my skin on my face is in incredibly good condition for someone my age. I don't have any wrinkles. I never get any kind of skin issues. I never get pimples. I never get dry skin or oily skin or anything like that. And I do attribute that to the fact that I don't use products on my face. And I have a whole video talking about that. So all of this just started to percolate in my mind, thinking about the chemicals that we put on our bodies and what this might potentially be doing to us. A lot of these chemicals are known to be endocrine disruptors. Excuse me, endocrine disruptors. I don't know why I had a problem with saying that. Endocrine disruptors. In other words, they kind of mess around with our hormones, and I don't really like the thought of that. So I just sort of decided to adopt this philosophy of just trying to reduce the chemicals that I put on my body as much as possible. And if I don't need to use something, like if it's not an absolute necessity, I'd just rather not use it. If water on its own or natural ingredients can do the job, I'd rather do that. And I know there are lots of people who feel this way. I think there's a whole sort of movement around minimizing the chemicals that we use on our body. Um, so I gave up shower gel as well. I haven't used shower gel for also like maybe about 2 months now. And I don't really notice a difference, to be perfectly honest. I don't smell, I'm not dirty, I don't have any sort of buildup of oil on my skin or anything like that. I just shower with warm water, or hot water, I should say, sometimes for areas of my of my body that I might want to give like a bit more of a vigorous clean. I'll use a face cloth or a loofah, but I won't use any soap. Um, and as I say, I don't notice any difference, and I like the fact that I'm no longer putting soap and chemicals on my skin. I suppose my hair was sort of the last frontier for me, and probably the hardest one for me to kind of come face to face with. I had bought into this idea my entire life, like pretty much every human being on the planet, in our modern era, that you need to be using products on your hair, that it needs to be cleaned with chemical cleansers, and that it needs to be kind of moisturized and softened with conditioning ingredients as well. Otherwise, your hair's just going to be an unmanageable, dirty mess. I bought into that way of thinking. Why wouldn't I? That's what I've been led to believe since I was born, as with everybody else. Um, and then I started to look into water-only hair care here on YouTube, and there are, quite a lot of videos of people who've tried it. Some of them seem to have had really good results. And there was a feeling inside myself. That's the best way I can really describe it, that where I wanted to try it. I just had this sense, I had this intuition that it might be good for my hair. And I think this largely came from the fact that I have tried so many products over the years, so many products and methods to try and get my hair to look like the way I want it to look without spending tons and tons of effort styling it. Um, that, yeah, I had sort of, to be perfectly honest, I'd lost faith in products. A lot of new products come out all the time, making all kinds of grand promises, and I've tried many of them over the years. And to be frank, none of them have ever really quite delivered the results that I wanted or that they promised. And so I just lost faith in products, even expensive products. I've tried everything from very expensive products to cheap products, sulfate-free products to silicone-free products, and everything in between. Um, I've tried clarifying products. I've tried hydrating and moisturizing products. I've tried products with protein. I've tried products with that were more moisturizing. And ultimately, I will say the curly girl method with very sort of using very gentle shampoos was the best of those products. Like that was definitely better than the harsher products. Certainly using shampoos that were not harsh, that were as gentle as possible, and using loads of conditioner was definitely better than using a sulfate containing shampoo and cheap conditioners and things like that. It was better, but it still wasn't what I was looking for. It still left me dissatisfied with my hair. So I decided to try water only hair care, and I just went cold turkey. Um, and I'm gonna just try sort of lay out the timeline of how it's gone so far. Spoiler alert, I'm still doing water only hair care and I absolutely love it. But I'm gonna try and sort of describe to you the progression of the steps that I went through in order to get to this point. So the first thing I did was I just went cold turkey with shampoo, and I just started rinsing my hair in the shower every 3 or 4 days or so. And I immediately noticed that my hair would feel sticky and a little bit greasy when I came out of the shower. And I think almost everyone reports this. Um, what it seems to do when you rinse your hair out in the shower is that it rinses the oil from your scalp through the lengths of your hair. And normally you'd be using shampoo to clean that oil off. But if you're not using shampoo to clean it off, your your hair is just kind of staying stuck with all that oil from your scalp. And so it was pretty rough at first. And after a week or two of doing that, I was really not enjoying it. I would comb my hair out and I would try and, brush it to kind of make it look decent, but the excessive oil in the lengths of my hair was just really getting me down. So I decided to just try rinsing my hair less often. And I sort of shifted to only rinsing it out in the shower like maybe once a week and then once every 2 weeks. And that was better in terms of the oiliness on the lengths of my hair. I would brush my hair very, very thoroughly every single day, like 2 or even 3 times a day, like very, very thoroughly, just to kind of get the oil very well distributed through the lengths of my hair. And my hair actually looked pretty decent. It looked clean. That excessively sticky and oily feeling in the lengths of my hair stopped being there around about week 3 or 4. And I was happy pretty much with how my hair looked and felt, except for the fact that I was getting a very itchy scalp. And I was noticing like dry flecks on my scalp, which was not cool at all. And I thought, this is not good. I wonder, what's going on here. And then I read up about it, and apparently this is quite common when you go with water only hair care. If you're not rinsing or like somehow getting rid of the dead skin cells and oil from your scalp, it'll just kind of sit there and it will make your scalp itchy. So I decided to kind of bite the bullet and then just start rinsing my hair out in the shower more often again. So every day at first and then every second day. And that completely solved the itchiness and dry flakes on my scalp issue. I no longer had an itchy scalp, no longer had sort of dry flakes on my scalp either from doing that. But then I was left with kind of the stickiness in the length of my hair. But the more I did it, if I washed or rinsed my hair out in the shower every day or every second day, it gradually got less and less sticky, less and less greasy. The lengths of my hair got less oily. Another problem that I had initially with rinsing my hair out in the shower and not using any shampoo or anything was that it would take, in the beginning, it took ages to dry. I'm talking 2 or 3 days to fully dry at first. Now, I found that the more I did it, the more I rinsed my hair out in the shower, and especially when I started doing it every day or every second day, that problem resolved itself. My hair eventually started to dry more quickly, and it's now at the point where I can rinse my hair out at night when I have a shower and just put it up in a cotton t-shirt to absorb the extra water. And by the next morning, it's pretty much dry. So that's pretty cool. So that did actually resolve itself over time. Um, but I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of water-only hair care that I've experienced that because I really love it. I am really, really enjoying it. Um, and so the benefits that I have experienced so far are pretty significant in terms of my issues and my concerns that I always had when I was using shampoo and conditioner. Um, First of all, and this is probably the most significant benefit for me, that kind of fluffy candy floss texture that I used to have in my hair when I used shampoo and conditioner, and it is gone. That texture is gone. I don't have that anymore. The hair close to my head is actually quite smooth and lies quite flat. It's like quite nicely just kind of it doesn't fluff up. It just kind of feels like hair. It doesn't feel like candy floss anymore. And if I were to try and describe that texture that I used to have when I used shampoo and conditioner, it's honestly quite hard to describe, but it was kind of like this clean, almost like if you took a sponge that had um, been used, to clean something. It had soap still in it. It had this kind of clean, squishy sort of, I don't know, it just, my hair had no kind of strength to it before, and now that problem is completely gone. My hair just feels like hair now. It feels strong. It's got structure. It's got smoothness, and I'm talking about the sort of the top few layers of my hair. And so that is great. That in and of itself is a huge benefit for me. When I get out of the shower and my hair dries, like yes, it might have a bit of fluff and a bit of frizz, but for the most part, my hair just feels like normal hair. It's not overly frizzy, and especially it's not overly fluffy like candy floss like it used to be before. It just has like a smoothness to it. My curls are quite defined, although they don't have that same sort of ringlet formation that you might see if you were using lots of conditioner and styling creams and gels. You can get those very perfect like ringlet curls if you're using a lot of product. But I'm not using any product at all, like nothing. I don't use any conditioners. I don't use any gels or styling creams or leave-in conditioners. I don't even use any oils on my hair at all. I'm literally just using warm water. Oh, something I do about once a week to once every 2 weeks, where I feel like my hair maybe needs a little bit of a clean, like maybe the hot water isn't quite enough, is I just take a bottle of water and I put a few teaspoons of lemon juice in it, or tablespoons, I should say, about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice in a like a 500 ml bottle of water, and I just rinse that, like I squirt that through my hair and leave it for a couple of seconds and then rinse it out. And that's literally the only thing other than water that I use on my hair. And it's actually quite nice because I find that after I use the lemon juice, my hair actually looks quite smooth. And I believe this is because the pH of your hair is quite acidic. And so anything that's a bit acidic, like lemon juice or apple cider vinegar, something else you could use, kind of tends to close the cuticle, and it gives your hair a little bit of it has a bit of a conditioning effect. It gives your hair a little bit of a softness and a shine to it. It's not anything extreme like you would get with conditioner or a hair mask, but it just gives it a little bit of extra kind of shine or smoothness, or it just has a very mild conditioning effect on your hair, which I quite like. But for the most part, my hair just actually looks and feels like hair. My scalp is not overly oily anymore. You can kind of feel that it has, when you're not using soap or shampoo to clean your scalp, you can feel that it does have like a thin layer of oil on it. But it's no longer like a sticky or unpleasant feeling. It just feels like skin. I don't really know a different way to describe it, but my hair just feels like hair and my scalp just feels like skin. It doesn't feel like squeaky clean like it used to before. Um, and it doesn't feel artificially kind of soft and smooth. It just feels normal. And to be honest, that is perfectly fine with me. If anything, that's actually what I wanted. I just want my hair to be, I'm just going to take my clip out so you can actually see. My hair just sort of looks and feels very kind of like normal hair. It's not, as I said, it's not overly soft or shiny. Um, it's just normal. It's a bit like, this is going to sound really weird, so forgive this metaphor or this comparison. But if you go up to a horse that has a really nice kind of mane or tail, and you just feel what the horse's mane and tail feels like and what it looks like, it just kind of looks like normal. And that's how my hair looks and feels at the moment. And this is 2 months of absolutely no shampoo or conditioner whatsoever. Um, I'll tell you what else I do is on the day that I'm going to rinse my hair out in the shower. So I rinse my hair out in the shower every second day at the moment. And on the day that I'm going to rinse it out in the shower, I give it a really good brush. I think a boar bristle brush is probably the best thing, to use for this. They say that the boar bristles, because it's a natural texture, it's more effective at distributing the oils through the lengths of your hair. But I really give my hair a very thorough brush just to remove any kind of loose hair, to give my scalp a really good massage and to kind of like help to distribute the oils through the lengths of my hair a bit more, to remove any tangles. Um, yeah, so I give it a really good brush before I hop in the shower. And then I just rinse my hair really thoroughly with the warm water from the shower. I probably rinse it for like a good 10 to 15 minutes. And then I get out of the shower, wrap my hair up in a t-shirt, a cotton t-shirt. The reason I do that instead of a towel is the fibers on towels can be a little bit rough for your hair, especially when it's wet. And a cotton t-shirt, or I suppose you could use a microfiber towel, is just a lot gentler on your hair. There's less breakage, and it's not as sort of yeah, just not as harsh or as drying as a towel. Um, on that note, another thing I learned about hair when it was wet, and a possible reason for why I was getting like fluffy kind of flyaway bits on the top of my hair before, is apparently you really shouldn't brush or comb your hair when it's wet. Now, I had always been advised, especially by the curly girl community, that it was fine to comb your hair in the shower, when it's wet, as long as you used loads of conditioner to provide slip. So that's what I always did. I had a tangle teaser, and I would put loads of conditioner in my hair, and I would comb my hair through with the tangle teaser or with the wide tooth comb. Now, I have since learned that that is actually really not what you should be doing, because when it's wet, your hair is actually incredibly fragile. The chemical bonds that make up the hair shaft actually start to disintegrate when your hair is wet, and they reform when your hair dries. Now, I don't know the exact chemical processes that are involved, but I've been reliably informed by several knowledgeable sources that this is what happens. And so even if you do use tons of conditioner, and even if you are being very gentle in how you comb your hair when it's wet, and even if you don't feel any breakage, you are most likely still probably causing a lot of breakage to your hair if you are combing it or brushing it or manhandling it in any way when it's wet. Just simply because your hair is just so prone to breakage because of those chemical bonds being kind of in a state of flux, I suppose, or they're sort of in a state of disintegration when your hair is wet. So it's very important to wait until your hair is completely bone dry before you do any combing or brushing or any sort of manipulation of your hair. So that's something I've started doing, um, because here's the thing that also convinced me that this is probably the case and that I probably had a lot of breakage in my hair. Once you stop using shampoos and conditioners, which have lots of kind of smoothing ingredients in them, lots of smoothing, softening ingredients in them, which can kind of mask the breakage, once you stop using those products and your hair is just kind of very au naturel, you can see the breakage. You can see which parts of your hair are really damaged and broken. And I could see that very clearly when I stopped using shampoo and conditioner. It kind of like jumps out at you which parts are like are damaged and have breakage. And that's why I actually cut a lot off the lengths of my hair. I actually gave my hair a big chop. My hair was kind of close to my waist before I started this shampoo and, this whole water only hair care. And about a month into doing water only, I actually cut off like probably this much off my hair because there was just so much breakage and so much damage on the ends of my hair. And I will continue to cut, you know, the damaged ends off until I feel that my hair is in the best kind of condition possible. Um, One final point that I just wanted to make is that I do color my hair. You can probably see my hair is actually two different colors, and that's because I was previously a very, very dark brown, and I have been trying to transition to a much lighter brown for quite a while now. But it's very hard to lighten incredibly dark brown hair, and I don't want to cause any more damage, so I'm actually just growing the dark brown out. I have just been kind of cutting it as I've been going along. It's been a bit awkward, but such is life. It's just one of those things. Um, and so I am in the process of transitioning to a much lighter brown. And so anyway, the point I was trying to make is I do color my hair. And you might be thinking, well, how on earth can you color your hair if you're not using shampoo to wash out the excess color? I thought the same thing, but I honestly, the first time I colored my hair after starting water only hair care, I just tried it. I just I just stood in the shower for quite a while, probably about 20 minutes in order to see if I could get most of the color out of my hair, the excess color out. And I used that lemon juice mixture that I talked about before. Just used a bottle with a few tablespoons of lemon juice in it, just to sort of help to clean the excess color out of my hair, and it worked like a charm. Haven't found I've colored my hair twice since I started water only hair care, and both times I haven't used any shampoo. I've just used water and lemon juice rinse to get the excess color out, and it has worked perfectly fine. I haven't needed shampoo. So I just wanted to describe my own experience. For those of you who are interested in maybe trying this, maybe you have similar hair to mine and you're wondering if this could work for you. I will just say I don't necessarily know that water only hair care would work for everybody. My suspicion is that it probably would work for the vast majority of people if you did it right, if you did it in a way that was smart and that works for your hair type. There are like various natural ingredients that you can use in addition to water to help you either clean your hair a little bit more or moisturize it a bit. I've mentioned lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. You can also use natural oils like jojoba oil or coconut oil or olive oil to help add a little bit of like conditioning to your hair to give your hair a bit more smoothness and softness and shine if you wanted to. I personally haven't found that to be necessary with my hair. I found that my natural oils are actually doing a decent enough job with conditioning my hair, and I really haven't missed conditioner at all, which I had thought that I might, but nope. It turns out, in my case anyway, that your hair's natural oils or your scalp's natural oils actually do a pretty good job of conditioning your hair all on their own. But anyway, as I say, I'm not saying that this would necessarily work for everybody and for every hair type. I don't know if I would have done this whole water only hair care if I had been someone with extremely straight, sort of fine, thinner hair that gets greasy a lot more quickly and that doesn't fluff up the way that my hair used to. I probably wouldn't have done it if I'd had that sort of hair type, or I don't know if I would have done it. Or if I was someone who really enjoyed using heating tools or who didn't mind spending a lot of time on hair care, I might not have done it either, because I wouldn't have been motivated to do it. But I do think that it is worth considering, at least. Even if you decide it's not for you, I think it's something that's worth thinking about whether it might work for you, because it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of chemicals that you don't have to put on your scalp and on your skin and on your hair and on your body. It's good for the environment, and it's, as I say, for me, this method of caring for my hair, if you can even call it that. I mean, I've described how minimal it is what I do to my hair. For me, it has delivered the best results of anything I've done so far, and it's consistent. My hair always looks the same when I come out of the shower now. I sort of know what it's going to look like and how it's going to behave. Whereas in the past, when I was using different products, I never quite knew what I was going to end up with. My hair wouldn't behave the same way from one day to the next. It seemed to have different reactions to different products on different days, and it could be anything, from the weather to how hot the water was that I used, or how much of a particular product I used, or just anything. I could never tell. My hair was extremely temperamental, whereas now I feel like my hair actually behaves a lot more predictably and consistently, and I really like that. And I'm happy with the way my hair looks and feels at the moment. It's not perfect. I couldn't, step onto a photo shoot. But I don't need perfect hair. I just need hair that I can be content with and that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, and most importantly, doesn't require tons and tons of time and effort to maintain. And yeah, so I'm thrilled. And something I like to do as well is on the day when I might, give my hair a really good brush, I'll put it into a plait for a few hours, and then it gives me like it comes out with really nice soft waves that tend to stay that way for like the entire day. So that's another thing about your hair's natural oils and the sebum from your scalp. It actually acts as a very good styling product in a way. It's as when your hair has plenty of your own natural oils in it, it actually tends to stay put. It stays in the style that you woke up with for pretty much the whole day. Because I've found anyway that your hair's natural oils actually just tends to keep your hair in place really well, much like a styling putty or gel would do. But I found it's even more effective than those things. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed hearing about my experience and my story. I know that I tend to talk a lot in these sorts of videos, and maybe not all the information is relevant or interesting, but this is just how I like to make videos and how I like to talk about things. So let me know if any of you have ever tried water any hair care, what your experience has been. If you have any questions for me, I'd welcome them and I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, I'll see you next time. And yeah, in the meantime, be good to your skin, be good to your hair, be good to your bodies, take good care of yourselves, and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.